Welcome to Podnutz Daily for September 30th, 2008, episode number 88. Had an interesting power jack repair today on a laptop. What makes it interesting? I can't remember. Let me think. I just have it written in my notes that it was interesting. It was a gateway. Okay, somewhat interesting. I remember it now. Most of the time, when you get a computer that has a power jack problem, when you want to test to make sure it's a power jack, first of all. What I like to do is the customer brings it in. They say, power problem. I ask them, do you have to jiggle the cord to get the power to come on? And if they say yes, it's almost always a power jack problem. But it could also be the cord, the AC power adapter. I like to take like a toothpick or like a screwdriver or something and test the jack. Just kind of put the toothpick in there and see if you could move the center pin of the DC power jack, if it's loose or if anything's loose in there. If it's tight, a lot of times I'll go look at the AC adapter, see if there's anything wrong with the AC adapter. This one was interesting because both the jack was tight and both the AC adapter were fine. So when that happens, I get a little wary, like, is it something on the motherboard that's bad at this point? Because if the jack usually feels okay from the outside, a lot of times it is okay on the inside. But I open it up and I check anyway. So I open it all up, I checked it out. And what happened with this particular power jack, and I have this recorded for the laptop videos, those DC power jacks have a pin. The pin goes, it's usually the positive point. It's the part of the DC jack where if you plug in an AC adapter, the center pin makes the positive connection and the outer part makes the negative connection. Well, the pin goes through the jack and then usually attaches to the motherboard somewhere. Well, this pin actually was attached to the motherboard, and everything seemed tight, but it was ever so loose. It was not making a connection with the underside of the motherboard. So what I like to do in that case, where a pin is not making connection to the motherboard, I assume in my mind that these jacks go through a lot of abuse. They're going to be moved around. They're going to be banged around. They need to have some kind of give. There's got to be some kind of give there. It can't be brittle, otherwise it's going to crack like this did off the motherboard and it won't make a connection. So if something's broken like that, I like to take a piece of wire, whereas instead of the jack just being soldered directly metal onto metal, I like to take a piece of wire and solder the wire from the point of the jack to the point on the motherboard. This way the wire has flexibility, and you could move the jack around and even be a little violent with it, and it won't break the connection the wire has with the motherboard. It gives it that give that I think it needs. I'll show this in the videos. I actually took some close-up pictures and stuff for it. It's hard to explain it, but another power adapter thing. A customer came in with an AC adapter and another laptop that had a DC jack that seemed fine. There was nothing loose in it. It was on a Sony Vaio. So I looked at the AC adapter again, and I always check the voltage on the AC adapter before I take the whole laptop apart. Obviously, you want to make sure the 19 volts is getting to the laptop through the AC adapter. Well, this is one of those third-party AC adapters, and I've seen this a couple times with these adapters. It's a third-party AC adapter where you have to buy, where it comes with like 5 or 6 different types of tips on the AC adapter, and depending on what kind of laptop you have, you put that tip on the adapter, plug it in, and it will work. Those tips get loose on the end of the power adapter. I've seen it happen a couple times where they either break, the tips break, or the spot where the tip actually plugs into the power adapter doesn't make a good connection. So you got to watch out for that, especially on these third-party adapters. They're not always strong, and it'll save you having to take apart the whole laptop if that's the only problem. In this case, just the tip was bad. So, the customer can buy another tip, and that'll save him a lot of money rather than, doing the whole laptop repair. It was fun. He came in, he brought me the laptop, and he's like, this has a power jack problem. He's like, how much does it cost? And I go, $99. He's like, $99? He's like, can you cut me a break? And I go, no. I'm like, you name somebody else. You go ahead and shop around. Name anybody else who's going to fix this jack for less than $99. It's a cheap price for power jack fix, so don't cut any breaks on if you're doing a power jack repair. $99 is a good price for that. I talked about a motherboard yesterday. It was a computer, a desktop, a compact, I believe. Was it a compact or an Acer? I think it was an Acer. It when you press the power button on the computer, nothing happens. So it's either the power supply or the motherboard. Looked at the motherboard, and the motherboard had a little LED on, which usually tells me that there's power getting to the motherboard. It's not completely dead. And then some motherboards don't have the LED, some do. But if you see that LED, then check your power supply. Make sure you have a good power supply. If your power supply is good, it's the motherboard. Sometimes when a motherboard's or power supply is dead, it will not show you that little LED on the motherboard. It's like a little indicator light showing that the motherboard's getting power, I think. Replaced out the motherboard. That worked with a socket 939 AMD processor, DDR memory. Everything was fine. That was up and running. Let's see what else we got here. It was a pretty boring day at the shop. One person had Quicken and was running Quicken, and it was freezing. They were running it on Parallels on the Mac, and it was freezing up. So I did a system restore on Windows XP in the Mac through Parallels. Did a system restore, still was freezing on Quicken. I uninstalled Quicken. Everything seemed to be working fine after that. So just need to reinstall Quicken. I actually did run Dial-A-Fix too. I think that might have something to do with it. Another interesting thing that happened today, I got a call from, I'm always getting calls from vendors and merchants and like the Small Business Healthcare Association, and everybody wants, wants you to give them some money. But this particular call interested me. It was from a site called Universe Point. I think it's universepoint.com. And what they do is they created software and a bit of, like and some service, a bit of a service site as well. Software that allows you as a computer repair technician to set up a server in your shop or wherever you want, and using their software and their support site, you sell to your customers backup space, like storage. You sell them storage, online storage. Basically, if you ever heard of Carbonite, where it's basically off-site storage, you pay Carbonite like $6 a month or something. That, and the customer, you set that up, or you buy that, you set that up, and then Carbonite will back up whatever you want backed up off of your computer onto their servers. This is a site, Universe Point, a company that actually allows you to set up your own server in your shop and do the same type of thing for your customers, set up off-site storage using their software and their support site. Pretty neat. They charge $5 per customer. So any customer that I get to do off-site storage using my server and all my equipment, using their software and their support site, I have to pay them $5. So if I charge a customer $10 a month for off-site storage, $5 would go to them, which seemed fine. It was reasonable. I was actually thinking about doing something like that, providing another